we talked about the fall of the Roman Empire with this map. See? And now in this episode, we are gonna talk about the start of the Islamic Empire with this map. So stay tuned so you can know what will be the next episode. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. See you soon. Hang up. So now that we saw my notes, let's get started on our Islamic Empire topic. So let's get a look at this map. This one. See it? Alright, so this part is the Arabian Peninsula. A peninsula a peninsula is a piece of land that has three sides covered in water. It's surrounded by water, and one side is attached to another piece of land, usually a continent. So like the Arabian Peninsula is the most standard out peninsula in every world map to particularly have it. Okay, so let's have a close-up at the red box. You should be able to see the peninsula. It's right here. See it? Alright, so let's get back on close-up. Now that we backed up, let's get our wits onto the Islamic Empire. But we are going to start with before the Islamic Empire even started, even before Muhammad was born. Alright, so Arabian Peninsula is also called Arabia, though the people there are called the Arabs or the Arabians. Also, the Arabian Peninsula is home to a desert called the Arabian Desert. Get it? Arabian Peninsula and Arabian Desert. Get it? The name rhymes. Alright, so there are a lot of trade routes in the Arabian Peninsula. Well, traders could have used the Silk Road even before Muhammad's birth time, but since the Byzantine and Persian or Sassanid Empire were at war, the war was on Silk Road mainly, the traders had to find other trade routes to trade stuff. So they started to go through the Arabian Peninsula. We're not sure how they got it, but I think it's like this. First, they went from the Persian Empire, sneakily, and then into the Arabian Peninsula to Egypt, and then voila, gone. Trading. Got it? Alright, that's a kind of like my job. Before these people, traders, there were nomads. Nomads are a group of people who travel together in search of food and water. Got that, pal? One more thing that we should say before we get into our Muhammad place. That the Nile was actually this long. The Tigris, the Euphrates River is this long, but how did the Arabian Peninsula people got their food? Well, I think it's mainly because of the Arabian Sea. Hey, that rhymes again. Well, the Arabian Sea has a lot of fish in my opinion, but that's how they got their food. Alright, now let's get into our Muhammad expedition. Alright, Muhammad was born in 570 AD, or was it 571 AD? Well, sources disagree. So we don't know his actual time date. But we do know that he was born as the prophet of Allah. Allah means God. More on that later. So Muhammad was born, and Muhammad was born, and he, like any of the other people in his city in Mecca, he was a successful trader. He went through many trade routes through his own hometown, actually home country peninsula, and he got a lot of money with that. Yep, good fortune. But one day, when Muhammad was meditating by himself in a cave, and that was when he was 40. The angel Gabriel visited him and just gave him a message to read. Muhammad can't read. He had almost no education. He only had 1% of education in his whole life. So the angel touched Muhammad and shouted, "Read!" And then Muhammad instantly knew the words. He read this: "Read to your God, Allah. Read to the people that are," well, something like that, but we're not sure. Sources disagree. Alright, so after he read the message, he was told to spread this message to the people of his homeland, Mecca, Medina, and other cities in the Arabian Peninsula. Got a pail. Got it. So let's get back to our Mecca city. Mecca is right here, and firstly, well, like others who maybe got this message, Muhammad was scared to tell people his vision of the angel. But his wife encouraged him and a lot of other people, and then he was able to spread it. And surprisingly, most of the people that he told to hadn't even rejected that the angels were real, except for the Muslim leaders. So no, the Muslims aren't invented yet, Sean. Right. So back to our Muhammad story. After Muhammad gained a lot of followers, he started a new religion called Islam. Don't get it confused with a country, guys. It's not even a country. Islam is a kind of religion and just kind of goes with Allah, the only God of the world. Well, that's how they say, though. The followers are called Muslims, and Muslims obey Allah and Muhammad, which is the prophet of Allah and prophet of Islam. Just choose which path you want to choose. It'll lead you in the right direction, in the same direction, though. All right. Also, after that, Muhammad and his followers were forced to get out of Mecca to Medina. Well, that's known as the Hijrah. They didn't want to do this, but the Muslim leaders were scared that the Muslims will overrun them, and they also think that their beliefs are wrong, stupidly wrong. So they kind of forced them out of Mecca. Then there was no place to go, but they were able to go to Medina. They also went to other places, crossing the Red Sea, but it's not related to this topic. Right, Mecca. So they went to Medina, and well, here's one surprising thing happened. Muslims grew there more. Even more Muslims were there, and then wait, what was that time? In 630 AD, that Muhammad and his followers came back to Mecca and conquered. Even though their army was small, his army was very enthusiastic. Good thinking, Muhammad. Enthusiastic man, huh? So they were able to conquer Mecca, and then they were able to conquer the whole Arabian Peninsula. Then they decided to expand their empire further. They got to get into the Persian Empire, which they were able to conquer it easily because after the war with the Byzantine Empire, the Persian Empire got a bit weak. So it was easily conquered. Well, you know what I mean. So the Persian Empire became this to this. Maybe even more. Then they started conquering the Byzantine Empire. Well, they were able to conquer Egypt. So here are the lands that the Arabians were able to conquer. They conquered the lands from to east and west. They conquered the lands of Egypt, Palestine, and Syria. They also conquered most of the lands of the Byzantine Empire and the coast of Africa, northern coast. So let's say that. So first, the Arabian Peninsula on the world map. Zoom in, please. Was from here, and then it grew from entire books. That's fascinating to do. All right, zoom back. So that's kind of like a surprising thing to do. Don't get surprised, but I was surprised when I first heard this news. This was the most surprising event in history that ever happened to me. Well, even what I learned. Alright, so this is the end of our Islamic Empire. But before we go, you need to know one thing before we get into our writing video. That this after Muhammad's death, 10 years, the Islamic people, the Muslims, made this book called the Quran, which contains all of the commands of Muhammad. And the first 4 caliphs used those commands from the Quran to conquer a lot of lands, and that's how they were able to conquer the entire books of the world. So I'll see you in writing video. Shanhan out. Hiya. Alright, so let's get into our writing video right away. Alright, so the first one is, what did you learn about the Arab world? Well, I learned that the Arab world is also called the Arabian Peninsula, and that it contained a lot of trade routes in the world, and it's also where Muhammad, the prophet of Allah and Islam, was born, in Mecca. Yeah, duh. And that's also where a new religion called Islam ever started. And that's also where the first Muslims even came into existence. You got that, pal? Alright, number 2, why do you think some religions are persecuted by others? Well, I think some religions are persecuted by others because of these, numerous reasons. But here are the top 5. Number 1, that these religions and beliefs are against the other religions' beliefs. Well, that's how the other religions think so. 2, they only want people to worship their own gods, while the others make their new gods and just worship them. Well, yeah. And number 3 is that here's the most barfing part, that persecuting, in their opinion, is the right thing to do. I think I just gonna barf. But no, as I said, now it's reason number 4. Number 4 is that they think that their only religion should be in the whole wide world, not other religions. They're just too greedy. That's what I'm saying. And the final top reason is number 5. That reason is that the Islam, for an example, is kind of having this kind of stricting, but they didn't do anything wrong to the Christians and Jewishes. That's what I like to see, but other people, as I said earlier in reason 4, are too greedy. Well, just repeating that again, too greedy that they only want their religion to be in the world. Also, one more thing about the greediness is that they don't think too much before even persecuting. They just hate it. They don't even think before they persecute other religions. Huh? I'm sorry if you're a Catholic or Jewish or Christian. Alright, so this is the end of our writing video. Now let's get into our extra video. Dun 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 dun. Bum bum. Alright, so this is extra history, guys. But why don't we start by organizing our religions that we've learned through these past videos of our hands-on history. So let's talk about it. Here are 5 religions. The first religion on our list is Islam. So there are people there are called Muslims or Islamites. The food is halal. There's a halal restaurant there. Try find it right up there. Hiya! Alright, try finding it. Found it? Oh yes! Alright, so let's get back here. Hey, come back. Alright, so there's halal food. Okay, so the Islamic Bible, kind of like holy book, is the Quran, which is where Muhammad gets his commands, and their kind of description is Islamic. Their places where it's worshipped is the Arabian Peninsula. See? Alright, our next religion and the topic of our list is Christianity. The people there are called Christians. You can say that they're followers. The holy book is the Bible, the Christian Bible. The kind of description must be the Christian, and also the place where they're worshipped is Europe and North Africa. Alright, so here's Europe and here's North Africa. See it? Alright, our next topic on our list is the Judaism. Alright, so Judaism's people are called Jewish people, or the Jews for short. The description is Jewish, and the places of worship is Mesopotamia, where the first civilization started. It should be in modern day Syria and Iraq. Alright, our next religion in our list is Hinduism. Hinduism people are called the Hindus. They have the religion of rebirth. Their kind of description is Hindu, and the places of their worship is India, modern day India. And they also, well, that's right here. Well, that looks like a big diamond to me. Our last topic for our religion is Buddhism, the baby Buddha. Ah. So our Buddhism people are called Buddhists. The description is Buddhist, and the description is Buddha, and the place where it's done is in modern day China. It's also used to be in India mostly, but then it changed. But now it's modern day China. Hope you enjoyed the religion, and now let's get into extra history, which is going to be about the life of Muhammad. Dun dun da da dun dun. Oh, okay. So now let's get into our extra history. Stop meditating, Shen. Alright, so here is our extra history for today of Muhammad's life, detailed version. Alright, so this is going to be about our videos, and this is probably my favorite part of this series. Alright, so Muhammad's life. So, sources disagree when Muhammad was born, but I agree with the 570 AD birthplace in Mecca. People also call it Makkah, but just choose whatever you want. Alright, so Makkah or Mecca, just choose. Mecca, I'm gonna choose that. Mecca is where Muhammad was born, and this is where the Prophet of Islam. People also call him the last Prophet of Islam. So this is kind of my favorite story about the prophets. Alright, so Muhammad was born, and then he was like any other successful trader. He was a successful trader. He did go through a lot of places, and also he went to the western part a lot of times, and he saw Christianity and Judaism and a lot of other religions. And also, here's one thing I've been always wondering. Why do you think that people from the West know little about Islamic culture? What do you think? Put the answers in the comments below, or just email me at 20jur@naver.com. Alright, so that's the answer. And well, anyways, back to our point, Muhammad had a good life with trading, and then one day he was in a cave meditating. Let me try meditating again. Oh, I can't concentrate. Well, he was meditating when he saw the angel Gabriel. He, whatever you want, but I'm going for he, touched Muhammad, and he instantly was able to read. And then there was a message. The message had a lot of reads in it, so don't get surprised. And then he was also told to get this message to everyone else in Mecca. First, he was scared, like any other person that would have got this message and told to do that. But then his wife encouraged him to do that. Alright, so that covers it all. And then he was able to have enough courage to, represent and also spread this message. Bless you, me. After he spread the message, he got a lot of followers. But the king's people of the Arabian Peninsula were very scared and also mad. So this started and led to the event called the Hijrah, which is when Muhammad and his followers were forced to leave Mecca, and then they went to Medina. So after they went to Medina, Muslims grew even more in the population there. And then one day in 630 AD, they were even able the Muslims conquered the whole Arabian Peninsula. They had a very small army, but their men were very enthusiastic. Alright, and then after they got the whole Arabian Peninsula, they were determined to spread their religion and land further. They went to the Persian Empire, which is also called the Sassanid Empire, and then they were able to conquer it. It's even out of the box, out of the map. And then they were even able to conquer the big parts of the Byzantine Empire. Not all of it, but very big. They were even able to conquer the coast of Africa. Whew. They also conquered land from the east and west. And also, they were able to conquer Egypt, Palestine, and Syria. Well, that's the biggest empire I've ever heard of, next to the Roman Empire. Phew. Why did I just get hot in a sudden? Alright, so that covers it all. And after even 10 years after the death of Muhammad, they were even kept this land for centuries. That's very, very, very longest empire I've ever heard. Longer than the Byzantine Empire. That's the end of our Muhammad. This video was made by me. It was sponsored by me. The script is made by me. The talking is by me, of course. The recording was by the camera you're watching from. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that like button, hit the bell button to also you wouldn't miss any of my notifications or of my videos. Also, don't forget to leave a comment below. Today's question is, what is this peninsula called? Is it A, Arabian Peninsula, B, the Byzantine Peninsula, or is it C, the Persian Peninsula? See you next time. Look closer at the map. You'll see it. Hope to see you next time. Ciao.